Hello everyone, welcome to the Old Man and the Read. My name is Jerry. Today I'm going to discuss the books I've read by Mary Doria Russell. Mary Doria Russell is just one of those extremely exceptional writers who just has not gained the recognition that I think she deserves. She's just incredibly good writer, wonderful prose, writes fascinating stories, and the thing that one of the things about her books is that they are extremely well researched. That's very meticulously researched. And another thing I like about her work is a lot of times you can kind of detect a little bit of emotional attachment to the story. She becomes so involved in it. But anyway, she's a wonderful writer. One of the reasons I think she doesn't get the recognition that she really deserves is that her first two books were science fiction. And so she's been kind of categorized as a science fiction writer, even though the rest of her books are all historical novels. But so anyway, I'll begin with showing the books. The first book she wrote is The Sparrow. This is science fiction, and I have to start off right off the bat by saying science fiction, a lot of times the premises of science fiction are a little illogical and unrealistic, and I think The Sparrow fits that category. But if you want to enjoy reading science fiction, you have to just go along with the story. And so this is about they discover music coming from a distant planet at on a faraway star, and a mission is planned to send a group to this planet to investigate. The part that is illogical is the group that is going are Jesuit priests. It's a Jesuit mission that's going to go to the first planet ever we discovered with civilization. But that's unrealistic. That's not going to happen. But anyway, that's the premise of the story. The book itself is broken into two storylines. The first follows Father Emilio Sanchez, who is the sole survivor of the original mission, and he's returned to Earth, and he has suffered tremendous trauma, both physical and mental trauma, and so it's about his dealing with his trying to recover. And the other storyline is about the mission itself, and the mission, when they first arrived at the planet, they discovered a group or a civilization known as the Runa. And the Runa are a very peaceful and innocent type of people that the mission starts associating with. But after a while they discover that this isn't where the music was coming from, and then they find a second civilization called the Jana-Ata. Now the Jana-Ata are very different than the Runa. The Runa are vegetarians and just eat plant herbivores, basically. The Jana-Ata are meat eaters. So they're a very deceptive, kind of evil sort of a people. But anyway, that's the second civilization that they find. And the story is basically about a complete misunderstanding of the cultures and the people and their traditions by the missionaries, and this leads to some disastrous results. But it's a book that kind of is about faith and questioning faith and the misunderstanding. The second book is Children of God, and this is a follow-up to The Sparrow, and it's kind of ties up some of the loose ends from The Sparrow, but it's about Father Emilio Sanchez, who is reluctantly agrees to return to the planet for a second mission. When they get there, they discover that there is another survivor from the original mission named Sophia, and Sophia is now the mother of a child on the planet. But it basically just comes to the ultimate conclusion to the interference that the Earthlings had on the two cultures and the results of that. The third book is A Thread of Grace that she wrote. This is a historical novel like everything else after that. And this is set in Italy during World War II. After the Italians and Germans have separated, so the Germans are leaving Italy. The Jewish people in German-occupied countries find out about this and start crossing the Alps to come to northern Italy for a safe sanctuary, but unfortunately for them, it really isn't that safe yet. And it's basically about the conflicts between the resistance to the Germans in Italy and those that were followers of it. It's a story with numerous characters, but extremely well researched and based on actual facts. The next book is Dreamers of the Day, and this is a story that takes place in Egypt. It follows a woman who is going to Egypt for a vacation, and she gets involved with the people that are there for the Cairo Peace Conference of 1921. Her name is Agnes, and she begins associating with those people, and it's basically about the results of the conference and how they had divided up the lands into establishing borders and making countries, and how those decisions led to the ultimate conclusion of the wars and unrest that have occurred in that region ever since. Her next book, Doc, is my favorite of her books. This is just an absolute favorite book of mine. I think one of the best books I've read. But it's a story that follows Doc Holliday. He's a young dentist in his mid-20s who is dying of tuberculosis, and it's about how he and his girlfriend Kate come west for the dry climate to try to recover from his tuberculosis. He otherwise has been told that he would be dying of it. So he ends up in Dodge City. He's a gambler, he plays poker, and a dentist, and it's about how he becomes friendly with Wyatt Earp. But it's just a wonderful story of Doc Holliday. A lot of it is just a character study of Doc Holliday himself. And one of the things I detected when I was reading this book is it seemed that Mary Doria Russell kind of formed an attachment to Doc Holliday, like a mother-son attachment. And you could see that, it was just in her writing how she felt about Doc Holliday. The next book is Epitaph, and this is a follow-up from Doc, but this follows Wyatt Earp more, and Doc Holliday becomes just a minor character in it. But it's about the events that eventually lead up to the shootout at the OK Corral, and follows Wyatt Earp through his life and into old age. Wonderfully researched book, just fabulously written, but a great follow-up to Doc. And the last book I have by Mary Doria Russell is The Women of the Copper Country, and this is again based on actual historical events. It follows a woman named Annie Clements, and she's become the leader of a union strike against the copper mines in Michigan. This was in the early 1900s. And this is a time when the companies and the owners of the mines had just complete control, and they could bring in thugs to beat and kill strikers, and really not face any consequences for their actions. But another fantastic book by Russell. Now that's everything I read from her, and that's basically everything she's written. She's not a very prolific writer, but just fascinating, wonderful books that she writes. She's just really an exceptional writer. So I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll watch another video. Thanks.